gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of The Squared Circle. I am your host, Hollywood J. Williams, and I am joined here by Mr. John Zimmerman, as usual. You're noticing a little change in our set. That's going to be explained in great detail. We have a very special guest tonight and a very special
Second guest. We are officially going global.
We are going global tonight, and towards the end of the show, you'll know exactly why. But before we bring the guests out, I just want to cover a little quick news and info for tonight. The matches for WrestleMania, the main title matches have already been set. If anybody watched the Elimination Chamber last night, it will be The Rock versus John Cena for the WWE title. So I guess it's not really once in a lifetime. I guess it's twice in a lifetime now.
Yeah, once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime. It's always the same. You know, how many guys come out of retirement and go back and, you know, this is my last fight. You'll never see me in the ring again. You know, Brett Favre, perfect example. You know, came out of retirement twice, and you know, we see it all the time, and not only in wrestling, but in all the sports. You know, everyone's got one last fight in them.
So The Rock retained the title over CM Punk last night, and finish followed a visual 3 count for Punk, 2 ref bumps, Paul Heyman's interference backfiring, and Rock finishing off Punk with the Rock Bottom to win the match. And as far as SmackDown is concerned, their world title main event for WrestleMania is all set as well. Alberto Del Rio will be defending the world title against Jack Swagger. And Jack Swagger's vision of America and his new manager. And where are they going with this? With Del Rio, a Latino champion. Did they get the idea from somewhere else? Maybe an independent wrestler. I don't know.
You know, I like the gimmick, and we said a long time ago right here on the show that Jack Swagger needed a boost of energy, something new. So it's good to see his character develop and change a little bit. And if you saw our page on Facebook, The Squared Circle, I did predict Jack Swagger prior to the pay-per-view. I did predict him winning, and it turned out I was correct.
And your prediction was absolutely right. And I see this Jack Swagger gimmick being very controversial. I think.
Well, you know, as Bischoff always said, controversy equals cash. And you're about to see it happen.
I could see him walking along the U.S.-Mexican border at some point, really soon. So stay tuned for that. Jack Swagger won the Elimination Chamber. Del Rio retained the title. The Shield, with a surprising victory last night, 6-man match over John Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback.
You know, I'm glad the Shield actually won, and they're making them look strong, because on the flip side, where TNA is, and Aces and Eights, you know, one guy comes out of the, Sting comes out of the back with a bat, and Aces and Eights like disperse, they disappear, and they look so weak. And here we are with the Shield, which is a similar faction, you know, and the Shield is looking strong.
The Aces and Eights, there's like 15 of them, and
and one guy comes out with a bat and they run away.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just silliness, you know, to make them look so weak. You know, here you're trying to create this, this heel faction, and they look weak. So at least with the Shield, they're coming out on the strong side.
Yep. During the midst of the match, it looks like Roman Reigns started a feud with Sheamus, and it looked like there was some tension there between Cena and Ryback. Ryback left rather angrily. You know, maybe he's getting a little fed up of not being able to beat the feet on the Shield like he wants to.
Yeah. Is it too early for them to turn Ryback or change his character? I mean, they should stick the course for the time being.
They should stay the course. Yeah. They shouldn't do anything with the Ryback. Yeah. Maybe have Ryback just that could be WrestleMania. Just do a handicap match.
That's possible.
Against all 3 of them.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
No major title changes to report. Antonio Cesaro retained the U.S. title over The Miz via DQ. Caitlyn beat Tamina to retain the Divas title. Divas, something we'll be talking about, we'll be getting to very shortly here.
Yeah.
Really quickly. So that basically wraps it up for the Elimination Chamber. I pretty much give it a C. It's not really that major a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything major to happen because it's all leading up to WrestleMania, and we're going to be in a holding pattern until WrestleMania happens. One quick note on the Elimination Chamber. In Germany, they're not allowed to call it the Elimination Chamber, and it's known as No Escape.
No Escape.
Yeah.
Why do they not? Is it something?
Well, the history of Germany. And,
I get you.
We're not going to talk about the Elimination Chamber.
I understand what you're saying there. Enough said about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll give you a little quick preview of Monday Night Raw for tonight. Road to WrestleMania begins tonight in Lafayette, Louisiana. Fallout from Elimination Chamber. They'll shift the focus from Rock versus Punk to Rock versus Cena. Rumored tonight they're going to have a Mardi Gras style celebration for The Rock.
Yeah, Vince was actively searching for a Mardi Gras float. Mm-hmm. And we'll see if he was successful in obtaining a float.
They're going to have the University of Lafayette marching band come out with him possibly. Also, Jack Swagger will deliver, getting back to that gimmick, his own State of the Union address.
Again, I'm glad they're doing something with the Jack Swagger character because he was so stale for so long, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
I am too. It's going to be quite interesting, quite controversial, I think. Chris Jericho is last TV appearances tonight until March. He's going to be going on tour with Fozzy.
Yes.
And the live crowd, if you're lucky enough to actually hop on a Learjet or get a quick plane trip out, you may make it in time for the main event, John Cena and Ryback versus CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler, but that's just for the audience in Lafayette.
That's a dark match. Yeah.
That's a dark match. They do that sometimes. What you see on Raw isn't usually what it ends up being.
Yeah.
But
it's fun, to do something a little extra, give you incentive to go rather than sit on your couch at home and watch it.
And it's a good thing they're in Louisiana because this afternoon there was a press conference to announce we're coming up. WrestleMania will be entering into its third decade next year.
Yes.
And on April 6th, I believe it is, 2014, WrestleMania will be emanating from the Superdome in New Orleans.
And we did speculate right here on this show a couple weeks ago that that's what the announcement would be. And again, we were correct. New Orleans. So it's odd that they're flip-flopping the Super Bowl and WrestleMania.
Yep, exactly. It seemed that way because last year I think the Super Bowl was in the Giant Stadium.
Well, next year, MetLife.
Or next year it will be.
Next year, yes. So we have WrestleMania at MetLife this year, and the Super Bowl was just in New Orleans, and they're just going to switch it next year.
They're just going to switch them, huh?
Yeah, so the revenue in both of those towns is...
Talking about John Sabor, who is a WWE exec, is expecting about 125,000 people to participate in the WrestleMania festivities during the week leading up to it next year. And
that's not hard to fathom. In New York City, that's a drop in the bucket, So,
New Orleans is having a lot. The mayor was on. He said they had the NAACP Women's Final Four there, a Jazz Fest, the NBA All-Star Game, and coming up this year, and WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a boost to the economy, and still the devastation from Hurricane Katrina can be seen, and they haven't bounced back yet.
I think this might help them bounce back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Between the Super Bowl and WrestleMania and the other functions that you mentioned. It's going to go a long way for the recovery of New Orleans. So I think it's a great thing.
They definitely need all the help they can get still after all this time. But you had some TNA news before we bring out our first guest.
Before I get to TNA news, really quick, the IOC, which is the International Olympics Committee, has voted to drop Olympics wrestling. They're going to take wrestling out of after the 2016 Olympics. We're not going to have wrestling in the Olympics anymore. Now, it's been there since day one. The Olympics was built on wrestling.
It was mostly wrestling to begin with.
And while, most of the viewers may not see the connection between what WWE and TNA does as wrestling, right? Most of the guys have a solid foundation in the grappling game, and it also in the UFC. You see these guys, they come out of either high school or collegiate wrestling, and it may not hurt United States wrestling as much because we have, college, and the college is funded, and we can still have like NCAA tournaments. But worldwide, it's definitely going to hurt because a lot of the countries that don't have the collegiate funding, it was funded by the state. The wrestling program is funded by the state, and a lot of the sports in general are funded by the state or the country where these athletes come from. And once it's removed from the Olympics, the funding is gone because there's no goal for these athletes to get to. And the Olympics, come on, it's based on Greco-Roman and the wrestling. Why are you going to remove it? And the controversy about it is that one of the people that was on the voting committee to lose wrestling, right, is on the committee is on the board for the modern decathlon, which they voted to keep instead of wrestling. So there was a conflict of interest, and nobody picked up on it until after the vote was made. So I would hope that between now and the 2016 Olympics, right, we can get some sort of movement going to talk the IOC into changing their mind.
Kurt Angle's going to be... he's starting a campaign.
Kurt Angle,
big campaign.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's definitely, obviously, a major, backer of collegiate wrestling and Olympic wrestling, being the Olympic gold medalist and all that. But I'm hoping that we can, reinstate it. And to me, it's just devastating. On a global scale. They took out baseball, which I was insulted by. But that's primarily an American sport, and I can understand that. But wrestling, is a global sport, and it's a sport that you don't need equipment to get into. You need a singlet, and a pair of shoes and a helmet, and that's it. So, basically any kid in any part of the world can participate. And now you're going to take this out of our lives. And it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, if enough people, just like anything else, if enough people complain about it.
Yeah, hopefully, and we do have time. So I hope that, everybody can get on board, and maybe we can get a grassroots movement going and get it changed. But TNA, I did some backgrounds and I did some research. TNA in the UK, they always say that the ratings are blowing away Vince in the UK. I found out why that is. TNA in the UK is on what we would call our basic cable network, and everybody that has cable gets TNA as part of their package, and it's basically a free show to watch. And WWE is on a premium package where you would have to pay extra, like we here in the States have, like your NFL Network and your sport.
Like DirecTV as the...
your NFL package, right, or your NBA TV. And it's, the next level, and you need to pay extra money for that. So WWE product is reaching fewer homes than TNA, which explains the ratings popularity of TNA. Not saying that, it's the product itself, but, when more people can watch you for free than have to pay for you, it does explain some of the popularity. So it's just food for thought.
And they're going to be starting their live tours pretty soon. They're getting excited about that.
Yeah.
Get out of doing the tapings.
Yeah, and we've had this discussion, and I think it's a great move, to get a different audience in there. And if you get a chance, if you can look up online, British Boot Camp, which is basically the TNA version of Tough Enough. I highly recommend it. They did a very similar show to the Tough Enough program, and it's different than their Gut Check here in the States.
Right.
And it's the British version of Gut Check or Tough Enough, and it's something to watch. And you're going to see the next stars come out of that program.
So that's pretty good. You don't have anything else?
Yeah, let's get to our guests. I did have some other stuff, but you know what? It's more important for the people here in the studio.
We have the future of women's wrestling here. Now, we've talked about there aren't enough women, we don't feel enough women in the mainstream WWE, TNA. Even the independents, sometimes they tend to lack a little bit.
Yeah, we've talked about it time and again that the female athletes are being grossly overlooked in this business, and they're really just they're not handled properly.
Right.
And the women's division in the knockouts and the divas have just gone downhill in the last couple of years.
It's sad because Trish Stratus being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and back then that's when the WWE Women's Championship actually meant something. But a woman I'm about to bring out right now, maybe one day, we always talk about this too, go to the indies, check out your indies. This woman is making a comeback sort of after some time off, making a comeback to the indie scene, and she's all ready. I want to welcome her out. Her name is Nicolette Vincelli, a.k.a. Nikki V. And here she is right here. This is
great, thank you.
Doing
Welcome
great.
to the show.
Welcome to the show. How are you this evening?
Tired. It's been a long weekend.
Been a long weekend, but we have you out here. You're a regular on our dear friend the Fogman show,
Yes.
Center Ring now.
I love the Fogman, so he's definitely probably one of the better people I've met these days. So aside from you guys, but
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So we have you out here. Tell us a little bit about you're pretty short, but you're
Well, what made you want to get into
exactly
wrestling?
actually, it's funny. I started watching wrestling when I was really young. My dad and my brothers were pretty into it, and the Hulk Hogan is really kind of what got me hooked on it. And when I got to be about 13, that was around the time that Lita and the Hardy Boys had come into wrestling, and Stone Cold, all the good guys.
Yeah, that was a great time.
the attitude era.
Yeah.
And that's really when I decided that I wanted to actually be a wrestler, and that's what I wanted to do with my life. But being 13, what can you really do to kind of prepare for that? So I kind of looked into it, and I started modeling and acting, for the other portion of it. So I did that for a few years, and then in 2010, I actually got booked on NWW. And that was my first show. It was actually Halloween of 2010, so so that was really important to me. So, but yeah, I mean, I did it for about 2 years, and then recently I've been out for about 8 months now. My best friend had passed away, and I just had no interest in going back.
Sorry to hear that.
But I'm ready now.
You're ready.
I'm at
You're
that
back.
point, I'm ready.
So how exactly? Who had been the person to train you? To be a wrestler?
Widowmaker Eric Shred. I absolutely adore Widowmaker. We have really good, chemistry in the ring, and he was definitely the easiest person for me to work with because he was very patient, and I mean, he wasn't if I didn't do something right, he would show me the correct way to do it rather than saying you're not doing it right. So, and that's what a lot of people do these days.
Is he still training? Is he still training?
I actually just talked to him recently because I said I want to go back into training again because I want to see what I remember, what I don't remember, and I don't want to be rusty getting back in the ring. So, with that being said, we're trying to set some stuff up so that get me back into training. But he was excited. He was thrilled to hear that I'm coming back. So.
But is he a personal trainer, or does he have a gym? Does he train other people?
No. Well, what we were doing was we were going to rent out a place and. And do it that way. Just because traveling for me is tough these days,
right.
So it's just easier for him to come down and rent out a place, get a ring, and everything. So
great.
Well, that's good. It's you go back and you'll be back better than ever. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That time you were wrestling, you had any favorite matches that you can remember, or you had some pretty interesting matches. I looked on YouTube. If you look on the Nicolette Vincelli YouTube channel, and she's doing some hurricanranas.
I call them Nicaranas because it actually I just left it as a hurricanrana, and then people started calling it the Nicarana. So I thought it was cute, and I was like, okay, it's a Nicarana.
Make it your own. Make it your own.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it looked like you did some, fighting with some intergender fighting.
Yeah, I actually, I don't think I've actually wrestled a girl yet, to be honest with you. I don't think I got around to that.
You don't think you got around?
Well, what had happened that some of the places that I worked for, they didn't really have a women's division, or somebody would cancel, so they would kind of throw me into a match with, you know, one of the guys, and I was fine with that. I mean, it was no big deal. I got beat up pretty bad.
I mean, you mentioned Lita. I mean, Lita fought pretty well with the fellas, and Chyna, of course, you know, fought the guys, and Beth Phoenix was in the Royal Rumble.
Karma.
You know, Karma as well. So I mean, it's not unheard of to be in that level.
Right.
You know.
But my favorite match, I'd have to say, was my first and, well, now at this point, my last match, which was a ladder match with my best friend and 2 other guys. So that was really special to me that I got to have a match with him before he passed.
So your dream match, who would it be?
My dream match?
Yeah, anybody. I mean, it could be, you know.
It would be against my best friend again.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, I can understand that.
Definitely. So you also had a modeling career.
Well, have.
Have,
Yes,
had, right.
yeah.
You want to do that full time as well as wrestling, or you
know what? Right now, it just kind of it pays my bills. You know, like that's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like it. It's it's something to substitute for my lack of wrestling right now, and that's what I kind of like about it. And I also do acting on the side right now. I'm in the middle of wrapping up this independent film, and but between modeling and acting, that's what's keeping me busy right now.
Well, and again, that's not unheard of either. How many wrestlers are trying to get into
Yeah.
motion pictures right now?
Gail Kim actually was in a movie.
Yeah, Ninja's Creed.
Something like that, yeah.
Something to that effect, yeah. Gail Kim was in that, and you know, obviously The Rock being the most popular and famous of the wrestlers in movies.
Right. So, what was I going to say now? Like we said before, we don't think there's enough women in the mainstream, the WWE, TNA, and it like I see the Valentine's Day commercial that TNA came up with, where all in their lingerie, and I mean.
Well, let's get your opinion on it. What do you think of that? I mean, obviously you do some modeling, so I mean that would be a part of it. But I mean, what do you think of TNA and WWE like objectifying their talent?
Well, to be honest, I mean, when I do photo shoots, I have a very strict line that I'm very careful not to cross. I try to be kid-friendly, but, I mean, you have to look at it from a business aspect. You know, you have to have some type of attraction for your older fans out there. Otherwise, you're not going to have a career.
Right.
But as far as WWE and TNA, I think that they kind of take it a little overboard right now, and that's what they're pushing, and it's unfortunate because it's hurting their women's division. I
can remember, I think it was Rob Simmons in the primary when he was trying to get the Republican nomination against Linda McMahon. He brought that up. Hey, you guys are exploiting women, and you know, it looks like, you know.
I mean, I don't know.
Making them look inferior or look like they're eye candy.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's really a personal choice on their behalf, or if that's something in the contract of how this is how you're supposed to dress or whatever. But I mean, back in the Attitude Era, I mean, you had Trish Stratus and Lita, who were both good-looking women, and they most of the time they wore pants. I mean, Lita always wore pants. Right. So wrestling in a skirt, I can't.
But then you had Sable, you know, coming out, and you know, Sable pushed the limit. You know, coming out with the paint on her breasts and what have you. So I mean, you did have, you know, like you said, it may have been a personal choice on the talent that, you know, Trish and Lita wouldn't go in that direction, but Sable and some of the other girls would.
Trish was already a model, and you know, part of the reason why she's getting inducted to the Hall of Fame is because she brought prestige to a title that people at that point had basically forgot about.
Yeah.
With the WWE Women's title, and Gail Kim, say what you want about her, she's the one that I don't really think that the TNA would even have a knockouts division if.
Oh, I agree 100%.
If Gail Kim didn't say, hey, you know, why don't you create a division? I'm new here, you know, I can wrestle. I don't necessarily need to be a manager.
Right. And
you know, she had some great matches, taking down a woman like 3 times her size in Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
And. So, Do you think they could ever have strong enough women's divisions again? Do you think they can ever get out of like doing whatever people might perceive as exploitive and actually have long matches like Trish Stratus used to have or Lita used to have? And
I mean, I think the biggest thing that they have to change is, I mean, the diva search. I couldn't wrap my head around that. I mean, these girls, like, yeah, they look good, but you can't. You're picking off models. I mean, maybe it's just my opinion, but I don't feel that that's the right way to go about it.
Well, they did have the Tough Enough, and they had the women on Tough Enough. Well, and I think that was a little better.
Yeah.
A better format than, like you said, just
nobody from Tough Enough or Adidas Search is even there anymore.
I thought Caitlyn came out of Tough Enough, but I may be wrong. I know she was a fitness model.
I think she might have came out of NXT.
NXT,
back when it was just it wasn't a federation, it was or an organization. It was just
that. Through that from the Miami Heat.
Okay. But talking about female athletes, this coming Saturday actually, Ronda Rousey is headlining a UFC event. What do you think of women in the UFC?
Honestly, I have to give them credit because I mean, I'm pretty tough, but even I wouldn't do UFC.
And I've seen her fight on. She was in Strikeforce, which aired on Showtime, the Showtime network, and she's fantastic. It's I think the females in the UFC come out and they fight harder because they do have a lot to prove.
Yeah. And
talk about a male-dominated sport, and this is going to be the first card that the UFC officially has women on their roster, and it's promising to be one of the biggest shows ever, because people are just going to tune in just for that curiosity factor.
I know, because it's something unprecedented, something you'll see more of in the future.
And
moving forward.
I think it may be a boost for not only the UFC, but it's showing people that women can draw money, and actually fight rather than just stand there and look pretty.
Right.
Which is wonderful that you do stand there and you do look pretty. But I would like
thank you.
If I'm paying to go to a wrestling show, I want to see at least some wrestling.
Yeah.
If I want to see a model, I'll go to the runway.
I agree. I definitely agree.
So, if you had to choose somebody like Gail Kim or Caitlyn or somebody that's in one of the current rosters, who would you want to have I wanted to know if you've ever met anybody that's working in TNA or WWE right now.
Women or the men?
Or either or.
I've actually met Mick Foley. He was on one of the same shows I was working a year or two ago. So I met him. I got to sit down and talk with him a little bit, and ask for his advice and his opinion. And that was probably like my favorite moment because I love Mick Foley. I met Velvet Sky on the same show actually. And
she's actually from Waterbury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I got her advice, and that was important to me because someone who's actually in wrestling right now. So I mean, I can't really say that I really like anybody who's in wrestling right now as far as the women go, because I'm really not that impressed. There are some like Beth Phoenix, well, she's not even there now.
Right.
But I mean, I did she could wrestle.
Yeah, Natalia.
Yeah, Natalia.
Reinhardt.
I do like Natalia actually, so I can't even say that. But
Tamina's coming along. Tamina Snuka. She might be the next big thing.
I think so.
If she works at it, I think. And you know what it is? If anybody just puts the time and effort into actually working for it, you have to have that passion. If you don't have that passion, you're not going to work for it.
Right.
And you're not going to make it.
Right.
You see yourself ever being like a Knockouts champion or Divas champion?
At this point, I would not even work for WWE. If Vince McMahon walked in here right now and offered me a contract, I would tell him no.
Vince, you can stay outside. Sorry. We got you covered.
And had lots of money in
it just wouldn't happen. I mean, unless they change their whole women's division, I can't. Just watching it makes me sick to my stomach. I can't do it.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you get treated by the guys in the back? I mean, are you one of the fellas, or are they
much,
standoffish because you're in there You're in their zone.
Oh, I mean, obviously, like I'm aware that I'm cute, you know. So I get hit on, and I'm very quick to kind of shut that down. And you know, I'm the type of person I'll just chill and hang out and laugh, and you know, I like to have a good time, and but I don't like crossing that line. And I'd consider myself one of the guys. I mean, I have a ton of guy friends. Women usually don't like me for whatever reason. I'm always very nice, but I mean, I like hanging out with my guy friends. Like, you know, there's never a problem. And actually, my buddy Rob, you know, brought me here tonight. And I mean, last night we chilled with a bunch of our friends, and you know, it was fun. You know, you just need to. I mean, if you ever have really good guy friends, then you're set. Like the ones that don't cross that line. And that's what I like. Those are my friends. That's what I like being around.
So the fellows in the back, they don't act like you're there for them.
At first they get that impression, I guess, but then I mean, if I'm on a show, I'm there to do my thing, and then I'm gone.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So.
So, is there any boyfriends in your life, or somebody? A little bird told me to ask you.
A little bird?
Yeah.
I'm curious of which little bird said that.
I don't know. There's a lot of birds in here. I don't know. Any, just wanted me to ask the hard-hitting question. That's all.
Yeah. As of right now, I'm sort of seeing somebody. So we'll see where it goes. I never. I don't like to get my hopes up. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, you know, I'm not disappointed. You know? So I've had enough disappointments in my life, so I'm just at the point of where I'm like, hey,
happens to all of us.
My life can't get any worse, right?
Yeah. So you have any shows coming up?
I have
bookings?
one coming up as of right now. Maybe two, but we're still in the talks about that. So.
Anything you can talk about? Or?
Nothing I really want to state at the moment, because I still want to work out all the details.
So you'll keep us updated, though?
I will keep you guys.
Call in, come back.
Yes,
when, when you can say, hey, I'm going to be here at this time, and I'm going to be fighting. You know, that'll be great. Yeah,
Definitely.
we love to promote all the the independent shows.
Definitely.
And
we stress that that's 50%. I mean, you heard us talk about the Elimination Chamber last night and all that, but
we give the rundown, but for the most part, we try to promote the independent shows where we can get up close and personal with men and ladies like you, and and have a good time and not have to pay $800 for a WrestleMania access ticket.
We're not on every single week, so the weeks that we're not doing our broadcast here, we try to air footage that we've
accumulated.
Taken. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're racking up some footage and
definitely. Could tell you before we bring our other guest here, we're going to go global momentarily here. February 23rd, there is a PWA show. Joseph von Schmidt.
Joseph von Schmidt.
You're a good friend.
I am a Joseph von Schmidt guy. Absolutely. Schmidt happens.
Where, Massachusetts?
Where?
Massachusetts.
Where?
That's kind of.
It's in Ware. W-A-R-E. Ware, Massachusetts. Who's on first?
And March 2nd, NEFW presents Slam Rock, Chicopee, Massachusetts Boys and Girls Club.
Another friend of the show, Chicopee, Mass. Yep.
Vinny V, I believe that is the 16th.
I believe so.
Extremely Talented Wrestling is going to move from the Bristol Boys and Girls Club, which is now being renovated, to Waterbury.
So, upcoming shows in our area.
Definitely.
Less than an hour ride from where we're sitting.
Definitely. You want to definitely check them out. Were we ready to bring the next one out?
Absolutely.
Definitely. We're going global right now. We also have a call, but I would like to bring our next
guest,
women's athlete out, if you will, all the way from Australia, just to do the squared circle. Wasn't that nice?
We're absolutely honored.
That's awesome.
Nikki Nitro.
Nikki Nitro.
G'day, guys.
The tale of two Nikkis here.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome to America, Nikki Nitro.
Thank you.
Welcome to the squared circle.
And we're bookended by Nikki's tonight.
That's it.
That's it, full of Nikki's.
What more can you ask for?
Very true. Okay.
So I have a call on the line, but before I take the call, Tell us about yourself. How did you get into the wrestling business? And basically ask you the same thing.
Okay,
Who trained you?
Well, I got into the wrestling business in 1999. I was taught by a guy called Andy Harpus. I've been taught by Sonny Siaki. I'm going down to Florida to train at Team 3D. I've been taught by Sean Bester. There's a lot of guys, a lot of Australian indie guys that have been taught by. And yeah, like I've worked with numerous of people. So as I say, you know, you work plenty with different people, you learn new things, and you know, that's just, yeah, you know, that's how it goes. But my purpose over here is this has taken me 2 years to make this decision to come to the United States of America to wrestle. So far, I turned up here 2 days. 2 days later, I had 7 matches, which was really good. In Aussie wrestling, it's very rare for you to get bookings so close to each other. I'm lucky to get bookings like once, twice a month, maybe 3 months, just depends. But yeah, my main purpose to come out here is pretty much, you know, what everybody else wants, the dream. So I'm a lot older than a lot of the young women like in this industry, and I feel that personality and maturity-wise, I am there, and yeah, I just want to see how it all goes.
I'd still card you for a drink, so you're okay.
Everyone does.
All right, you're okay.
We'll talk a little more to Nikki Nitro in just a minute, but we have a call here. Live on a squared circle.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Thunderous.
The Thunderous one.
The
Good
Thunderous
evening.
one.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Doing great. It's a shame you're not down here with us tonight.
Yeah, I'm home working in the home office, but I'm enjoying the show. I just want to say what a great show you guys have this evening, and I want to comment on something that Nikki V said earlier about Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
I do think right now you see a better show going to the independents.
Absolutely.
Too much talk on Monday Night Raw and TNA. Not enough wrestling.
I agree.
In saying that, I need to disagree on one thing there. Coming from two sides of a product, everybody has their own personal preference of what they do like. They either do like the WWE or they either do like the TNA. Being around business for such a long time, yes, I have to disagree with what you said, like in regards to the WWE and the women's talent. You have to be sexy to be on TV. Like, everything is about glitz and glamour, you know, and if you are not a marketable product, how can you sell yourself? How can they sell you? You know what I mean?
I'm not
like,
disagreeing that you need to be attractive. I just meant that they need to step up their game.
Well, this is why they have Sarah Del Rey in there. You know, Sarah Del Rey, that, like, man, I take my hat off to that girl. I think she's phenomenal.
Yes.
And the best thing that the WWE has done is bring her in to train those girls. Yes, fair enough, you do have models, but in saying that, being from, you know, a model myself as well as you, it is possible to learn how to wrestle. But in saying that too, you know, you have to have a marketable product. And if you are not marketable, then I tell you, like, from a fan or, you know, like being around in the industry for such a long time, I do not want to see a fat slob on TV. I'm sorry, but like, it's not marketable. You know, you have to be in shape. So.
Well, Sarah Del Rey being from Shimmer.
Yeah.
The women's division of wrestling, which we've mentioned on the show quite a few times. And I think that's a great product.
Oh, definitely.
And yes, while the women are attractive and very beautiful women, they put on more of a wrestling product than they do a modeling product. And I think that's where
I'd like to see them get a national...
The dividing line is, yeah. I'd like to see more of the athleticism be the focus. Of course, you have to be good looking to be on TV. It's amazing that I'm actually on TV because I don't feel that I'm that great looking. But you know, I think there's a fine line of where you're going to fall on that. Whether you're just going to have, you know, eye candy, or you're going to have women that are athletes.
Well, this is why they bring Sarah Del Rey in.
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah, and I'm 100%
because
agreeable.
They do want a marketable product, but they want a marketable, you know, product that does sell, that can work, you know. And if you have these girls, you know, that step up their game a little bit, they're going to get more TV time. You know, it's not going to be a few minutes on TV, squash match, blah blah blah, and that's it. you know, like it's going to be, well, yeah, great. You know, you put the hard work in, you get the rewards.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's just...
You know, the sad part is, you know, and we've said it before, that, you know, probably one of the best wrestlers, female wrestlers on the scene right now is Natalya Neidhart.
Yeah.
And they don't really
what
even
does she
use
do?
her
She
too
comes
much.
out. She comes out on the arm of Khali.
Well, she's a third generation in, so like you would think, you know, she'd get up a bit of a step-up game, but...
And John, if I can interject for a minute, John?
Absolutely.
I'd just like to say I'd like to see either one of these two ladies on Monday Night Raw besides instead of Vicky Guerrero.
Oh my goodness. I like to see anybody.
Thank you.
I don't like
except for
Vicky Guerrero, but, you know, like coming from a heel side of view,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's her character. It's her character.
like
and
it,
you know what?
that's
The reason we hate her that much is because she's really that good.
yeah, well, that's it. You know, if she's going to make you want to punch her head in, obviously she's doing her job.
Absolutely.
So,
And before I hang up, gentlemen, I'd like to throw out a trivia question if I could. If any of the viewers can call in and answer this trivia question, I'd like to ask, who came up with the name WrestleMania?
Hogan or Finkel? Oh.
Who came up with the name WrestleMania? That's an interesting one.
Oh, that's a big controversy,
We
isn't
have
it?
plenty of time to answer that question too. We have several weeks before WrestleMania.
Right,
so.
right.
So just ponder that for a while and see if anybody comes up with the answer, and then if not, I will let you know what the answer is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Thunderous.
Keep up the great work.
Absolutely.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
The Thunderous one, Tom Dacey.
Yes, absolutely. So,
A man
what do we
that
what do we got
helps
coming
the
up
squared
for?
circle quite a
I'm sorry.
bit.
I'm sorry. What do we have coming up for you?
this Saturday you have PWA Justice for All, February 23rd, 2013. The doors open at 6:45 p.m. Show starts at 7:15 p.m. I possibly might be on that show if you're worthy enough. Just depends on how I'm feeling at the time, but yeah, you should come to this show. It's going to be great. You're going to see a few familiar faces. I know a few people on this show too, so it'd be quite interesting, if I do rock up there. But in saying that, if I don't wrestle, at least I'll make an appearance just to be nice, nice for once in a lifetime. But yeah, other than that, we also have CTWE. Madness in March, number 5. The first time ever dog collar match. This show I will be making an appearance. Nikki, you're going to really hate this, but I don't care.
Oh, God.
I am now a part of this stable, which is called the Platinum Playboys. Your favourite friend,
Oh, my
Stevie
favorite
Stamos,
friend.
and Jay Buster. We're out to destroy. We're going to make some impressions. Going to create a few more haters. Yeah, the doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 7 p.m. To check out more information on that show, you go to ctweprowrestling.com. Yeah, so I have a fair few other shows coming up in the woodworks. I'll be heading down to Florida in about a week's time, maybe a little bit longer. It depends on how I feel. Yeah, to do my training.
So
and then
you're at a United States tour, basically.
pretty much so, yeah. Like originally, well, the reason why I came to originally Jersey was to work on Bombshells, Pro Wrestling Syndicate, Bombshell Ladies of Wrestling,
Yep.
and yeah, it was quite interesting. I wrestled a bloke called Starman. Yeah, that was fun. It created a few haters, but it was good.
Were you here for our wonderful blizzard that we had?
Yes, I was.
And-
I turned out 2 days before.
And you had never experienced that, I'm guessing.
No.
Yeah, that's.
Because
that was
here
a
in
lot of
Connecticut, we
snow.
had a record. Yeah, we set a new record. So
It was interesting because see where I come from. Right now we're in summer, and we're suffering from bushfires and floods. I turn up here and it's freezing my butt off. And
You don't
then
have
I have
any
a
winter
blizzard.
jackets or
I have
anything.
one jacket and I've got heaps of t-shirts now.
I can imagine we'd have some volunteers to keep you warm. I can definitely.
If they want to slap in the head, yeah, come forward.
It's 9 hours just to have my driveway shoveled out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 people.
You know what? The other day, actually, it's quite funny. The fogman can actually vouch for this. I was in the snow for over an hour and a half, just standing there, because it was just like, I was wow factored. I can't, I
So
can't
you've never
explain
seen
it.
snow before.
I have, but most of ours is like man-made, and that's only 2 months of the year. So it's just like, yeah, we go snowboarding. It's like half of it's like man-made snow.
Well, you can take it back with you because
yeah, it
I've
was
had
great.
enough of it.
I've had enough of it.
Amen.
I love it. I love it only because I don't live in your country. So it's good. So when I go back home, might be a little bit depressed, but in saying that too, I'll be like, oh, thank God I could just wear a singlet or like a t-shirt, not have to freeze my butt off.
Yeah, the best parts of this country, I think, are Florida or Las Vegas has dry heat.
Oh, yeah. I've been to Vegas before. It's it's a nice place.
My old co-host
It's very
lives out there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're going to call every now and then.
Right.
I'll ask you the same thing. Ronda Rousey, UFC, women in the UFC. What do you think of it?
I think it's fantastic. Why? Because about time women stepped up, and showed the guys it's not just a male-dominated sport. This is, now we're a new generation. It's about equal rights. So what a guy can do, a girl should be able to do. Like just because you're a female doesn't mean that you're any less of a person. I'm all in support of it. There's been a numerous number of people have come up to me at home and turned around and said, "Look, Nick, do you want to do UFC?" And I started doing it, but then just being bombarded with wrestling and stuff like that, and just focused on coming over here and trying my hardest to make it over here. I just put that to a side. But I'm all for it. I think it's fantastic.
Great. I agree. I think it'll help not only combat sports, but wrestling as well. If people are tuning in to see women actually fight, I think it'll change the mindset of let's have these girls just parade around the ring. Let's actually let them get in the ring and show off what they can actually do.
That's
athleticism.
it. You gain more respect that way. As as Nikki would know, this is a male-dominated sport, wrestling, and it's always been about that. But nowadays, there's plenty of other girls coming into this industry, and it's really hard being in the locker room. I have to admit that. But you can stand your ground, you get respect. But if you're one to stand back and cop it all, you're always going to cop it all. But if you have a voice and you speak up, some people don't like it. Obviously, there's a lot of egotistical people out there. But you've got to have somewhat of an ego, not full my poop don't stink type ego, to gain respect, and it's a male thing. They're going to look down upon a female regardless.
What do you think about the WWTNA that point we were trying to make about exploiting women? Do you think there's any truth to that? That they don't really have enough women in there, and they don't really focus on the matches as much as hey, look, well, if they have a match, it's like a bra and panties match or something.
Well, okay, it's quite hard to say. As I was saying earlier on, you have to be sexy. Sex sells, but there is sex sells, and there's over exploiting something. If you have a fantastic body, fair enough, but you don't really see many bra and panties matches nowadays, which is good, because
pillow fights,
because it's all about there's a lot more adults coming into it, and there'll always be that, but there's a lot more children, new generation kids coming into watching wrestling and all this and that. Prime example with Lita and Edge. That segment that they had, and there was a lot of confrontation. There was created so much heat. After that, I think the WWE realized, we got to step this down a bit.
Big thing what they're doing now is with AJ Lee. You don't know who she's now. Now she's with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I think it's just that they're trying to work. A story in there. They're trying to see what she can do. It's about testing. We have an Aussie girl in there right now, Emma. And she comes out and she does this dance and stuff. But it's getting over, and it's all about a gimmick. you know, and that's what it should be. Like back in the day, WCW, everybody had a gimmick. You know, there's too many guys nowadays that are very much alike each other, and you don't
Generic.
want that. It's you want something that's branch off of something. So like by AJ doing all this stuff, you know, like she's branching off. She's, you know, and you're always thinking, crap, you know, like who's she going to be with the next week, you know, and that entices you, and that's all about a story.
Lee would be a tremendous Divas champion if she's focused more on in-ring.
I personally, I really like Caitlyn. I think she's stepped up a game. I think she's actually she's put the hard yard in. She deserves the reward.
She's improved over the past. I want to say at least 3 months. She's definitely. I mean, if you go back 3 months from now, you know, and look at her then and compared to now, she's definitely
you know
stepped up.
She wants to learn. You know, like she wants this.
And that may be the Sarah Del Rey factor.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you watch Sarah Del Rey, like when I was sick a couple of years ago, I watched her and I was it was at Ring of Honor, and I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, wow factor. It was crazy. She's phenomenal. Why they do not have her on TV, I do not understand. But you know, like obviously, you know, she's happy being where she is, and like she's training these girls, and then you know maybe one day she might get her shot. But until then, you never know. But like the Divas division is changed a lot. The girls are not tiny little supermodels. Like, you know, they're getting more curves about them, and that's why I really like Caitlyn, because she's a woman.
Yeah.
You know, like she looks good. Natalia, she looks great. You know, and it's not.
Well, Caitlyn came from a bodybuilding background.
Yeah, a lot of them do, like Trish Stratus. She also did too.
Fitness
you know,
model,
like fitness models, and like I said, you know, like they're sexy. So like you got to have that. Look at Mickey James. Look at her. You know, she's a cutie. You know, she's.
One of my favorites is Gail Kim.
Yeah.
Actually,
usually she's not here tonight. Usually have her staring right at you.
Yeah, I was at FWE the other night, and she was there. I watched her. It was great. It was really good. So yeah, it was. She's a fantastic worker.
Yeah, she's got her whole life set up now. She's married to the celebrity chef.
Yeah.
Let's hope she doesn't get fat from all the cooking.
No, I highly doubt that she will.
But to comment on your gimmick thing, I've said on the show that you know, it used to be everybody had a character, and we've moved away from characters, and a lot of the guys that are in the ring, it could be the guy that's sitting next to you.
Yeah.
And you know. The same thing with a band. You're not gonna. I don't want to go see somebody on stage that I can go see in the garage.
Exactly.
I want to see something that.
I want to see something different.
Right. That's different. And wrestling was, when I was growing up, you know, it was larger than life, and it was guys that you couldn't see next door on the street or just in the gym. It was a character. You know, they had a persona that you know. It was almost like a superhero or a cartoon character.
Goldberg.
Yes.
Prime example, Goldberg. Like, no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, you know who Goldberg is.
Yeah.
You know, like
Hacksaw.
You know who Goldust is. You know, like these guys are like these guys are wrestlers. You know, like Goldust, he's got this character about him. You would never see somebody like that on the street.
Right.
You know, like never. You saw somebody on the street like that, you're like.
Right. I call it larger than life.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And that's like this is like with my character, for example, like people turn around, Tommy Dreamer for one, he asked me why I have like eye paint on, and like the reason for me having eye paint on is because I'm not one of these people to stand in a crowd. I want to stand out of a crowd, you know, and NIKI Nitro, when she has that on, that's my gimmick. You know, like kids, it's quite funny at home. If I don't wear that eye paint, nobody knows who I am. It's only one eye. But, you know, take that off, I'm a totally different person. Put it on, I'm Nitro. So, you know, that's how it, you know, distinguishes your character, because you know, like you build something up for such a long time, and you want it to stand out. And like nowadays I find that like, you know, what we were saying just earlier on, there's too many wrestlers that are alike. You know, like the next door, you could be sitting next to somebody and they say, oh yeah, I'm a professional wrestler, and you're like, oh really? Okay, like I'm
I met her, I didn't even know she was a professional wrestler.
And you know, that's a bad thing about women too, because like in my example too, like people are like, oh, you're too pretty to be a wrestler, you should be a model. Yeah, I do model, and at home, like I'm a professional actor on a TV series called Housos, and we did a movie just in November. which was released, sorry, in November last year. And then they'll say, oh, well, what else do you do? Do you do sports? And I'm like, yeah, I wrestle. And they're like, you wrestle? And I'm like, yeah. And they go, but you're too pretty to wrestle, or you're too small to wrestle, you're too short. And it's like, it doesn't matter, I'm a woman, you know, like, get in that ring with me and I'll show you. So it's just like,
this one here could definitely be a future champion.
We'll see.
Before we run out of time, I want both of you ladies to tell us where we can find you, either social network, online, you know, that kind of thing. How we can, if we can see some of your matches, if you have a YouTube channel, what have you. We'll start with you.
Definitely.
If you actually go on my website, www.nicolettevincelli.com, you can get my Facebook, my Twitter, YouTube, every social network I'm on, you can find it there. And then I have my online store as well. And
the online store.
The online store.
Interesting. And you're all over YouTube.
And I'm all over YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
You just type my name in Google. I just recently Googled myself because one of my friends said, said, go ahead, Google your name. All right. And I mean, the first like 6 pages was everything about me. And I've actually been posted on like sites for internet celebrities. So I thought that was actually pretty cool that, I was actually on this site. So I mean, if you Google my name, I mean, you're going to get everything about me.
And you as well?
I've got my own YouTube channel, NIKI NITRO, PWAQNIKI Nitro. I'm on Twitter under NIKI NITRO 22. I have my own website, www.nikinitro.com. You can also find me, you can find me on Facebook. Just type in my name. Just remember, it's 1K, not 2.
Just like this one.
That's very important.
It's you put 2 Ks in, you never find me, or a Y, you never find me. But even if you put in houses versus authority, like I was saying earlier on, I'm a professional actor at home, so you can find me through there. But hopefully soon someone will sponsor me and come to the States, and I'll stay here. It's real.
You ever see yourself working for any of the big two?
Yeah, I'm here to make a mark, and I'm here with a level head at the same time. If I make it, fantastic. If I don't, you can always try again. And it's all about persistence, and if you want something, you go for it. That's why I'm here and chasing my dreams.
And you mentioned Team 3D, which is that the Dudleys?
Yeah, the Dudley boys, Team 3D.
And have you met them already?
I'm really good friends with Devon Dudley. Yeah, I've got a fair few friends in this industry, TNA as well as the WWE. So it's all networking, and hopefully let's see what happens.
Definitely. And you let us know once you've signed anything for any independent cards. You let us know. You call us up.
I will definitely.
We'll have you on again too.
Sounds good. I'd love to come back.
Definitely. It's been a pleasure having you in North Haven.
Thank you.
And you as well.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So we're going to be wrapping things up here on the Squared Circle. Don't forget one more time, February 23rd, PWA in Ware, Massachusetts. NAFW Slam Rock, Chicopee, Massachusetts, March 2nd. And Vinny V with his ETW show, March 16th. I'd like to thank Nicolette Vincelli, Nikki V, and Niki Nitro. Thank you for coming all the way from Australia.
Cheers, thanks for having me, guys. And can I also mention one more thing?
Absolutely.
I just want to thank everybody out there, that supported me over the last fair few years. If I can't get to you, it's not that I'm meaning not to, it's just that I'm crazy busy at the moment, but I always make a point of answering fans and stuff like that. And also this Thursday night on Centre Ring with the Fogmen.
As well as Nikki V.
Yeah, we have an all-girls segment, so it should
really
be quite
interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. So you better tune in and make sure give us a buzz on the phone and have a chat.
And that's
Definitely.
WPAA.tv?
Yes, that is.
Exactly. Yep. So till next time, we're off next week, I believe. The week after that.
Yep.
Until then, good night and good luck.
Thank you.